Good evening, everyone, and really thank you so much for joining tonight on a rainy, cool night. It really means a lot to us that you're all here with us. My name is Kim Kushner, and I'm honored to be your host tonight as we gather to celebrate an organization that truly transforms the lives of thousands of people every year. Sharsheret is very near and dear to my heart. As a Sephardic Jewish woman, I was surprised 4 years ago when I unexpectedly learned that I was a BRCA2 mutation carrier. When you find out that you're a BRCA mutation carrier, or even more so, when you are given a cancer diagnosis, it literally feels like your world is crumbling. There is an overabundance of information that speeds your way. There are multitudes of opposing opinions, decisions to make, checklists, appointments, tests, doctors. It is very overwhelming and unnerving. And every single person who faces a cancer diagnosis wishes there was a way to make things easier. They wish that they had a friend they could turn to who can give them clarity, offer educated advice, and be a source of comfort above all. Sharsheret is that friend. Sharsheret guided me through my journey, and today I am deeply grateful and a proud member of the Sharsheret Board of Directors. I would like to start off by welcoming our guest of honor, Dr. Melissa Frey. We have so many to thank for this beautiful evening. Thank you to our event sponsors, Bloomberg Philanthropies, Sidley, Merck, Pfizer, AbbVie, and Davis Polk. Thank you to our event visionaries, my dear friends, Sherry and Neil Cohen, and Lynn and Caleb Coppell. To our extraordinary event chairs and committee, our incredible staff, my colleagues on the Sharsheret boards, and the very talented Ramin Abrams. And to our Jewel Circle members, those who commit annually to Sharsheret with gifts of $5,000 or more to raise awareness as Sharsheret ambassadors. You might notice some of us wearing our jewel necklaces, an exclusive gift to our Jewel Circle members. There are no limits to the extent of support that Sharsheret offers all over the world, from here in New York City all the way to Jerusalem.
Good evening. My name is Alana Silber, and I am the CEO of Sharsheret. Thank you all for coming tonight. And like Kim said, in the rain, we appreciate the effort. As you saw in the video, Sharsheret has recently expanded. We opened a new office in Israel that provides free and confidential patient navigation, emotional support, quality of care kits, and community education. Just the other week, I was in Jerusalem and I attended Sharsheret's Florence and Joseph Appelman lecture. This was the 4th Sharsheret educational event in Israel this year. Women and men that night had the opportunity to learn about the future in breast cancer screening from a top radiologist in Israel, Dr. Shalom Strano. I was sitting in the audience, and I can tell you, everyone felt empowered and positive for the future. Much needed perspectives during this ongoing war. Tonight, you too will look toward the future. Sharsheret remains on the cutting edge of advancements in medical technology to help guide families with genetic mutations like BRCA, CHEK2, PALB2, ATM, BARD1, and mutations associated with Lynch syndrome. Please turn your attention to the screen to learn more about a life-changing procedure that helped a young family rewrite the future for their next generation.
When I was 43 years old, my 2 girls were very young at the time. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And as it turned out, I tested positive for the BRCA gene mutation. I remember the bathroom just spinning around me and my world was crashing in on me.
When I was about 18 years old, my parents sat me down and told me and my sister that my mom carried the BRCA mutation and that there was a 50-50 chance that we carried it as well. I got tested right after Daniel and I got engaged, and it came out that I actually tested positive for a BRCA mutation.
With knowledge comes power, but with that positive gene mutation came a whole lot of guilt that I unknowingly passed it on to her.
I always knew about Sharsheret from my mom's involvement, and it was after I tested positive that I really learned about all the resources and offerings that Sharsheret had and how I could potentially utilize that for my path down the road. During the pandemic, my doctor postponed my annual visit, and not having that set time to see my doctor scared me. I wanted to take matters into my own hands and move forward with the prophylactic mastectomy.
Lana and I were really proud of the kids after a little bit more than 1 year of marriage that they made this monumental decision. They did it with a lot of research and courage, and they handled it with such grace.
I knew my first call had to be Sharsheret. I was put in touch with a social worker, and she then put me in touch with other women across the US and Israel who had my doctor so I could talk to them about their experience.
Sharsheret was so helpful to me as a caregiver to be a sounding board, to be a source of support, and to be able to advise on best practices. More than anything, though, there are people who can relate to the experience you're going through, both as patient and as caregiver. Sydney and I had already known about IVF, but through reading Sharsheret materials, we learned about PGTM, which gave us the possibility of eliminating the BRCA mutation from our bloodline.
IVF with PGTM is a combination of 2 wonderful technologies that we've been blessed with in our generation. We take in vitro fertilization and we compound it with testing the embryo. It affords us the ability to differentiate between embryos that might be affected with a genetic disease and those embryos that are normal or unaffected.
It was needles and doctor's appointments every morning and follow-ups and expensive medication. It wasn't an easy process on my body at all. And on top of that, I decided to undergo this in between my prophylactic mastectomy and my reconstructive surgery. So we were very fortunate, and out of the 8 viable embryos that were sent off to testing, 4 of them were negative. After healing from my reconstructive surgery, we decided to transfer an embryo. and unfortunately, it did not result in a positive pregnancy.
Sydney and Daniel never gave up. They never quit believing. Despite everything surrounding them and all the other procedures that they had to do, they persevered. And then at their second transfer, they were blessed with success, a BRCA negative, healthy embryo and child.
Knowing when I look at her that she doesn't have the BRCA mutation, it lights up my world. My heart is living outside of my body at this point. I can't put it into words, the joy that I feel when I look at her.
It happens to be exactly almost to the day my 20th year of being diagnosed and being cancer-free. How lucky am I? But most importantly, Sharsheret gave me, my granddaughter Maya, the opportunity to be born without the BRCA gene mutation. And that is such a gift and a true blessing.
As we embarked on our journey for both Sydney's surgeries as well as IVF and PGT, we decided to really deepen our involvement in Sharsheret. The value that Sharsheret brings and the importance that Sharsheret has within our community is absolutely impossible to overstate. I decided to get more and more involved and ultimately join the board of Sharsheret to contribute in any small way that I can to this incredible mission. Looking back at this process, the feeling I could say I feel more than anything else is blessed. Blessed we live at a time in the world where modern medicine has made both the surgeries as well as IVF and PGT possible. Blessed that we have an unbelievable support system in our families and friends. Blessed that we have each other, and blessed that Sharsheret has been there with us every step of the journey.
What a remarkable story of resilience, showing how modern science helped pave the way for a brighter tomorrow for this family. We are privileged to have Sydney and Daniel, as well as Sherry Helfand Wiener here with us this evening. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And now for our honoree. Sharsheret has been fortunate to work closely with Dr. Melissa Frey, the director of the Genetics and Personalized Cancer Prevention Program at Weill Cornell Medicine. Dr. Frey is an incredible woman and a true leader in the field of genetics, and so many of us, including myself, are truly fortunate to call her our doctor. I remember the first time I met with Dr. Frey. She told me that her goal was to prevent women from receiving a cancer diagnosis. When I challenged Dr. Frey, telling her that I really didn't want to go through another risk-reducing surgery, she sat me down and she said, "Kim, I cannot tell you how many women come into this office and I have to tell them that they have ovarian cancer. I want to help women remove their risk before they get to that point." And that is what she is doing. Dr. Frey goes above and beyond for her patients. Every year at my checkup, I am overcome with emotion when she remembers to ask about my sisters who live in Canada and follows up on their health journeys as women with BRCA, taking the time to offer advice and care. She is a true superwoman, saving lives, raising her own young children, and changing the path of women's cancer. Dr. Frey and Sharsheret have co-authored a medical manuscript about breast cancer in the Jewish community. We have assisted her in her research and provided psychosocial support to her patients. In turn, Dr. Frey educates the broader Sharsheret community, speaking on webinars and serving as an advisor to the Sharsheret clinical team. Many in this room and across New York City rely on Dr. Frey as a brilliant medical professional for her exceptional care and compassion. It is my great honor to call upon my friend and doctor to accept the Sharsheret Maimonides Award. Please welcome the distinguished and incredible Dr. Melissa Frey.
deeply honored to accept the Sharsheret Award. Thank you, Kim, for tonight and for inviting me to my first ever Sharsheret event at your home several years ago. Thank you, Alana Silber, Yafalea Field, and the rest of the amazing Sharsheret team. When I was a new gynecologic oncology attending, I cared for a 38-year-old woman with stage 4 ovarian cancer. Initially, the prognosis was grim. Her cancer was aggressive. Her genetic testing revealed a mutation in the BRCA1 gene, and thankfully, she has had a great response to chemotherapy, surgery, and targeted therapy. However, as my patient continued to get better, other questions began to emerge, questions that went beyond just treating cancer. Her husband asked me for resources to help their young daughter cope with her mother's illness, and her 3 sisters asked me, could they also carry the BRCA1 mutation, and how could they access their own genetic testing? I remember feeling extremely capable when it came to treating her cancer, but less so when it came to answering these other questions. I was not sure how to support this family in a way that addressed their broader needs. During residency and fellowship in medical school, we are rigorously trained to diagnose cancer, prescribe treatments, and perform surgeries. But there is significantly less time focused on how to support the emotional, psychological, and familial aspects of cancer care. Then I was introduced to Sharsheret. I was amazed to learn about an organization that offered holistic and thoughtful care with the goal of cultivating community, not just for our patients, but for their families as well. Sharsheret's cultural sensitivity session helped our team understand the importance of recognizing each patient's unique relationship with culture, religion, and family. And as Kim mentioned, I had the privilege of co-authoring an article with Alana Silber and Adina Fleischman on this topic, a truly wonderful experience. Through Sharsheret's team, including social workers and genetic counselors, I learned about invaluable resources, including support for young children, like my patient's daughter, whose parents are facing cancer. These interactions have challenged my perspective on my role as a physician. My responsibility is not just to my patient. I must consider the entire family. They are also my patients. This shift in thinking inspired me to launch a family genetic testing program where we empower relatives interested in accessing their own genetic testing. This has been my passion project for the past 7 years, and with Sharsheret's help, we have helped hundreds of relatives complete genetic testing. The patient that I mentioned earlier was the first to enroll in our family genetic testing program. I was able to offer genetic testing to her entire family: sisters, brothers, parents, aunts, uncles, even cousins. We identified several previvors, or family members that carry the BRCA mutation but have not developed a cancer. And these relatives now receive regular screenings, and several of them I have been able to operate on to prevent them from developing ovarian cancer. But we didn't stop there. 15 months ago, we launched the Genetics and Personalized Cancer Prevention Program with my amazing partners, Dr. Ravi Sharaf and Michelle Premiamo, and an amazing team, many of whom are here tonight. Our goal is to offer accessible cancer genetic risk assessment, genetic testing, and prevention interventions, and to do so in a holistic, patient-centered manner. We hired a social worker, Emily Epstein, who is dedicated to supporting individuals with genetic mutations. One of the first tasks I gave her when she joined our team was to connect with Sharsheret, to learn from Sharsheret's model of care and apply it to the work that we are doing. We are so grateful for Sharsheret's unwavering support. Most recently, I have been focused on reaching Jewish communities in the tri-state area to raise awareness about the disproportionately high rates of cancer mutations. As you often hear, the rate of BRCA among Jewish people is 1 in 40, but if you actually include other mutations that are more common in Jewish people that also cause breast, ovarian, colon cancer, the rate is actually 1 in 5, or 20% of Ashkenazi Jewish people that undergo a panel test will have a positive result. And so I'm absolutely committed to spreading this information and making genetic testing available. To Sharsheret, I would say, You have made my job easier and harder. Easier because there is nothing more gratifying than referring a patient to Sharsheret. You become my partner in care, filling gaps I identified and gaps I didn't even know to look for. But you've also made my job more complex, because working with you sets a standard for care that inspires our entire team to strive for more and to never lose sight of the full picture. Thank you for being my partner in this work. And again, thank you for this incredible honor. Finally, I want to thank my family. I'll start with my husband, Mac, because for those of you that know me, it's rarely about Mac. My children and patients sometimes/always come first. Thank you, Mac, for your endless patience and support, and thank you to my 3 wonderful and sometimes wild children, Ace, Fiona, and Tabitha, who have been running around here tonight, but thankfully are being quiet for this part of the talk. To my parents and siblings who are here with me tonight, thank you for your unwavering support. You have known me since I was that strange 7th grader reading the New England Journal of Medicine on the beach. You have been there to encourage me, and along with my fantastic in-laws, continue to help me with my children, bringing them to soccer or Hebrew school or all their other activities while I'm at work. And a special thanks to my mom, who has traveled with me to medical conferences across the country, always with at least 1 child in tow, so that I can do the work that I love, but also be with my family. Thank you to my friends for sticking with me. I do realize that all I ever talk about is genetic testing, cancer risk, who needs a mammogram versus a breast MRI. I'm sorry, I just can't stop. So in conclusion, I encourage everyone here, if they have not before, to consider genetic testing. And thank you again to Sharsheret. You have made a profound impact on my work and on the lives of so many people affected by cancer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Frey. Everyone, I am Jordana Nadrich, and I am president of the board of directors. I am also a BRCA1 genetic carrier mutation, and as a provider myself, having undergone a prophylactic mastectomy, oophorectomy, and hysterectomy, I applaud you, Dr. Frey, for your commitment and dedication to caring for women and for their families. When I look around this room, I see so many others like me who have families touched by cancer and live across the world in the US and in Israel. Sharsheret now can bridge that gap and help entire families wherever they are. And while we know we are at an increased risk and that it's critical to focus on our health, the lives of those in Israel have been turned upside down. I've heard women say, "Who has time for a mammogram with a war going on? How can I reach out to others for seeking support, adding to their burden when they're helping so many others during this crisis and a war?" This is where Sharsheret Israel's office steps in and provides much needed supportive services and life-saving education. The funds that we raise this evening will be directed to our efforts in Israel, where the demand for Sharsheret's programs are on the rise. Please consider making an extra gift tonight by scanning the QR code on the screen or by texting CHAIN, that is CHAIN, to 50155. Also, please visit the silent auction featuring sports memorabilia, fine jewelry, and accessories that have been displayed on the screens. And really, thank you all for joining us for this evening and for joining us in our efforts to improve lives and save lives, both here and in Israel. Please enjoy the dessert in the lobby, and we look forward to greeting you at our next Sharsheret event. Thank you, everyone.